you thought the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle South Park saga was over, oh, you better buckle up because the royal roasting isn't just back. It's allegedly coming back harder. That's right. South Park is reportedly gearing up for a sequel episode, once again setting its irreverent sights on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. But this time, it's not just their endless cries for privacy while launching Netflix documentaries. It's Meghan's now infamous pregnancy empowerment video, ring lights, slow-motion twirls, oddly choreographed bump showcasing, and enough filtered lighting to power a small town. And apparently, South Park's writers saw that and went, perfect. Let's cook.
I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
But here's the kicker. Behind the scenes in Montecito, things are not okay. While the public sees a polished couple in designer linen with a chicken coop and an endless supply of rose-tinted interviews, insiders are saying the household is in crisis mode, like DEFCON 3 levels of chaos. Staff members are reportedly working late nights monitoring social media sentiment, TikTok parodies, and even niche Reddit threads. PR teams are scrambling to get ahead of the satire storm, but there's one huge problem. They're not fighting a tabloid anymore. They're fighting South Park. And as history has shown, you do not win that war. Now, Prince Harry, poor guy. He's apparently taking this harder than anyone expected. Sources say he's rewatching the first South Park episode obsessively, like a royal version of a student cramming for finals. Except instead of chemistry, he's studying how bad he looked in animation. He's reportedly glued to his phone at night, scanning group chats, looking for leaks, checking what's trending on Twitter, well X, and praying that this new episode doesn't somehow manage to make the last one look like a warm hug. And honestly, it might. Because here's the thing, the original episode was brutal. Titled The Worldwide Privacy Tour, it painted Harry and Meghan as self-absorbed clout chasers demanding privacy with one hand and launching a book tour with the other. It was satire so sharp it cut through the usual royal discourse and reset how the public saw them almost overnight. Even people who were previously sympathetic found themselves laughing, then awkwardly going, wait, are they actually like this? The damage wasn't just meme level, it was reputational. And if you're wondering, well, why don't they just sue? You clearly haven't met satire laws. Lawyers from both the UK and the US have reportedly reviewed their options and come to a disappointing conclusion. They have none. South Park falls under protected free speech, and since the video being mocked, Meghan's pregnancy performance, is something they themselves published, the creators are essentially handing Trey Parker and Matt Stone their next storyboard on a silver platter. But wait, it gets even messier. In what sounds like a plot from a PR nightmare workshop, Meghan's team allegedly tried doing damage control by reaching out to influencers, hoping they'd label the parody as misogynistic or harmful to women's empowerment. Clever angle if you can sell it. But here's the twist, most influencers declined. Not because they didn't want to support the message, but because they reportedly asked for 5-figure payments, and Meghan's team wasn't ready to drop that kind of coin. Some even allegedly laughed at the request. Not a great sign when your crisis plan starts with influencers to the rescue, and ends with them ghosting you like a bad Bumble date. Meanwhile, on the digital streets of TikTok and YouTube, the internet is doing what it does best, going full savage mode. Viral clips are already comparing the leaked South Park scenes to real Netflix footage, and it's scary how hard it is to tell them apart. That's what makes this sequel episode so threatening. It's not just funny, it's uncomfortably close to the truth. And when satire feels like a documentary, there's not much you can do to separate reality from roast. Internal reports apparently back this up. PR tools tracking sentiment metrics are showing that the majority of posts about Harry and Meghan right now fall under categories like mockery and sarcasm. The numbers are damning: 61% mockery, 27% sarcasm, and a measly 8% defense. Not exactly a ringing endorsement from the public. At this point, people aren't asking whether the parody is too harsh. They're debating how far it should go. That's not damage control territory. That's a reputation spiraling off a cliff. And the ripple effects are already hitting their bottom line. Some of Meghan's brand partners are reportedly reconsidering their ties, afraid of being caught in the fallout. Her lifestyle brand, already getting compared to Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, but in a kind of mocking way, is facing public snark instead of public interest. Even fan pages are quietly disabling their comment sections to avoid the flood of clown emojis, South Park gifs, and snide remarks about privacy and bump choreography. Now let's talk about the big question: what do they do next? At this point, their options are not great. They could try to get ahead of the parody by releasing a self-aware response video. Maybe laugh along, take a jab at themselves, show some humility. But that's a massive risk. 'Cause once you give South Park new footage to work with, they will absolutely use it. A cell phone becomes just another meme waiting to happen. And Meghan already knows what happens when a serious message gets clipped into a TikTok trend. Spoiler, it's not empowerment, it's embarrassment. Option 2? Try to pivot the conversation into something serious. Maybe frame the whole ordeal as an example of cyberbullying or unfair media treatment. That might work for a niche, loyal audience, but the wider public is likely to see it as deflection. Worse, they might view it as performative activism. And we all know how that plays out on social media. The second it looks insincere, it's game over. So in summary, Harry's stressed, Meghan's team is scrambling, and South Park is about to drop another culture-shifting nuke right onto Montecito's perfectly manicured lawn. And here's the part that really stings. Their biggest problem might not be South Park at all. It might be that the world finds these parodies too believable. The gap between satire and reality has all but disappeared. When a cartoon version of you is indistinguishable from your real-life PR campaign, that's not just bad press, that's an identity crisis. And just when you think it couldn't possibly get any more uncomfortable for the royal expats, here comes the final twist. This South Park sequel might not even be the last one. That's the scary part. 'Cause the moment a public figure becomes a recurring joke on a platform like South Park, it's not just a one-time roast. It becomes a series, a running gag, a cultural shorthand for hypocrisy and media desperation. And let's be honest, Harry and Meghan have given writers more material in the last 2 years than most reality shows give in 10. Think about it. You've got Oprah interviews, 6-part Netflix series, a Spotify podcast that quietly vanished, a ghost-written memoir with enough royalty to drown Buckingham Palace, and now this strange venture into influencer-style empowerment branding with dance routines and theatrical lighting. South Park doesn't even have to exaggerate anymore. They can just quote verbatim and people will laugh like it's satire. Because at this point, the couple's real-life choices often feel more surreal than the parody itself. So where does that leave them? Well, metaphorically speaking, somewhere between a rock and a meme. Their every move is now being filtered through the lens of public skepticism, mockery, or outright ridicule. Even fans are starting to tiptoe away. Remember those loyal Harry and Meghan stan accounts that used to post dreamy montages and soft music over interview clips? Many of them have gone quiet. Some have locked their accounts. A few have even posted cryptic farewells like they're retiring from a fandom that's turned radioactive. When your own base is hesitant to speak up for you online, it's not just bad PR. It's a signal that the brand may be, well, toxic. And unfortunately, Hollywood has a short memory and an even shorter attention span. If your name stops meaning influence and starts meaning liability, meetings stop getting scheduled, collaborations dry up, invitations mysteriously get lost. It's not a dramatic fall, it's a quiet fade. And unless something big changes soon, that may be where Harry and Meghan are headed. Not because they don't have talent or charm or potential, but because the narrative has completely slipped out of their hands. It's ironic, really. For a couple so obsessed with controlling their story, they've now become characters in someone else's. The South Park writers are scripting their public legacy one absurd episode at a time, and there's not a press release or influencer post in the world that can stop that momentum. Because the public doesn't care about statements anymore, they care about entertainment, and satire, as brutal as it is, entertains. Till it's not all doom and gloom, there is a narrow path forward. But it requires something that Harry and Meghan haven't shown a lot of lately: authentic humility. Not the kind that's filtered through a perfectly curated podcast or a documentary produced by their own team, but real, messy human vulnerability. An honest moment of, yeah, maybe we got a little carried away. Maybe we misjudged how this would land. That kind of moment could reset the narrative. It wouldn't erase the mockery, but it might make them relatable again. 'Cause despite all the satire, despite the memes and the backlash, there's still a weird affection the public has for underdogs. If they can stop trying to curate their journey and just live it, bumps, bruises, and all, people might just root for them again. But if they double down, retreat further into victimhood, or continue trying to weaponize progressive causes as PR shields, they risk becoming what South Park is already portraying: two overly serious celebrities trapped in a loop of performative virtue signaling and media addiction. It's a delicate dance, and right now they're dancing blindfolded on a tightrope over a very unforgiving internet. And yes, Meghan may have literal choreography in her videos, but in this case, the metaphorical choreography matters more. One wrong move, and it's not just their reputation that falls, it's their entire post-royal empire. The deals, the influence, the brand, everything. And speaking of brands, let's not forget what's happening behind the scenes. There are rumblings that companies once excited to be associated with Meghan's image, this blend of royalty and modern feminist icon, are now quietly shifting resources. Internal meetings have reportedly labeled her brand as high risk, And while no one's confirmed drop deals yet, let's just say if you're a company trying to market wellness candles or luxury tea, the last thing you want is your ambassador being mocked on Comedy Central for fake authenticity. That's not synergy, that's sabotage. Even in media circles, some producers are reportedly rethinking pitches involving the couple. Why? 'Cause South Park has changed the cultural temperature. What once felt fresh and daring now feels like low-hanging fruit for jokes. And nothing kills a serious public figure persona faster than becoming everyone's favorite punchline. But hey, let's take a breath. Amid all this chaos, there's still a way for Harry and Meghan to rewrite the story. Not with statements, not with lawsuits, not even with rebranding, but with actions. Real-world, non-curated, non-scripted actions. Show up somewhere unannounced and do something meaningful. Kip the press. Kip the lighting crew. Let people see them without the glossy layer. That's the only way to bridge the growing disconnect between the image they want to project and how the public currently sees them. 'Cause at the end of the day, we're not just watching a couple struggle with public image. We're watching two people try to balance trauma, legacy, fame, and ambition, all under the harshest spotlight in modern media. And maybe, just maybe, beneath all the satire and spectacle, there's still room for redemption. But until that day comes, South Park is watching. The internet is screen recording, and the world is waiting for the next clip to go viral. So what do you think? Is South Park being too harsh? Or did Harry and Meghan kind of walk into this one themselves? Should they clap back, laugh along, or just log off completely? Let's talk about it in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to give it a like, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a pop culture moment as juicy as this one. I've got plenty more coming, and you know the next South Park episode is going to give us even more to talk about. Until next time, stay curious, stay caffeinated, and stay out of the ring light.